We are live.
Okay. Then here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Linux for the Rest of Us, episode 177. This is a show about all things Linux, whether it's hardware, software, whatever tickles our Linux fancy. We just talk about it. And by we, I mean myself, Cody Cooper, aka Supercoop, and my good friend, Little Nix Maven, aka Stephen McLaughlin, the DoorToDoorGeek. How's it going, Door?
Hey man, going pretty good. Little bit normal craziness here in the McLaughlin household, kids, family, work, life.
Mm-hmm.
Prepping for Northwest Linux Fest here. Good times are coming.
Oh man, it cannot come soon enough. As a reminder, Dor and I will be at Northwest Linux Fest, including Martin Rambo Obando, the host of Geeksters, and several other people throughout the community. So if you live near Bellingham, Washington, and can't make it out, it's going to be a good time. It is a month away as of tomorrow, and man, it just cannot get here soon enough.
But yeah, good times. We already have 9 of us going in a bus. We're going to meet in Portland because basically everyone is coming from that direction.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to meet in Portland, hop on a bus Friday morning, and head up to Bellingham. So far, it's me, Cody, Martin, Josh Knucklehead Tech, his son, Martin's son, Chuck, Aaron, Jeff Owens, and I know we're set to meet Steve Sears and John, I want to say Hickey, up in Portland. So we're already 11 people deep, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty big contingency. Just can't wait to have some time off and just have some fun.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And man, I'm not trying to sound dumb, but I know a huge majority of the people in this trip really do work hard. I know I'm taking off tomorrow because I need a break. Cody, I know, who works maybe almost as many hours as Martin, and Martin, I cannot believe, is still sane by the number of hours he works. Knucklehead Tech is under a lot of pressure, stress. Jeff
Yeah.
Owens is under lots of pressure. The number of people he has to support is redonkulous. Aaron, hardworking man. I mean, this is going to be such a release. You're going to hear all of us just relax when we get there because it's just going to be fun.
Yeah, I cannot wait for it. And if you want to check out any of the talks or any of the specifics for the fest, go to linuxfestnorthwest.org and you can get all the details.
Yep.
All right, so jumping right into it. I do want to thank everybody who has been joining the Linux for the Rest of Us club. I haven't checked our the people who've entered in over the past week or so, but according to Door, we got a pretty good response. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, I do believe as of right now it's over 100.
That's
No,
great.
let me rephrase that. No, it's over 50. If you want to do the giveaway today, we can do it towards the end of the show because it's going to take me a second because I forgot to download the list of people to get them in a spreadsheet.
Oh, got it. Yeah, we're going to be giving away an Nexus 4 later in the show running Ubuntu Touch, so stay tuned for that. And the way that you were able to enter for that giveaway was simply just by joining the Linux for the Rest of Us club at podnutz.com/Linux for the Rest of Us club. You go there, sign up. We'll be disseminating certain content directly to you via email, and you will be automatically entered to win any giveaways that we have here on the show just by being a member. So check it out.
And it went up from last week. There was around 50 so people. Now there's 74 people in the club. So that's good.
There you go. I just need to be better at advertising it. I think once we do that, the floodgates are just going to blow right off, and it's going to be chaos. But I welcome it because no amount of chaos that the Linux the Rest of Us club could throw at me could be worse than what I've dealt with this week so far. So I'm welcoming it. It'll be fun. All right. And Door, we do still have a few of the Think Penguin coupons left, correct?
Oh, I have plenty of Penguin coupons left. All you gotta do is just email us podcast at linuxfortherestofus.com, and I will do what I can to sort them out. All you got to do is just enter the coupon code during the purchasing routine, and you will save yourself some dollars, some cheddar, some cheese, some greenback, some money, some dinero, some cake, some greenback, whatever.
Some
And voila.
scratch.
Yeah. And you're supporting a company that goes out of their way to support free software. Now, the only thing I ask that if you do not use that coupon code, please let me know so I can put it back in the basket and give it out to somebody else who is looking to use the code. Once again, this is not a company that's paying our way for anything. This is not a company that gave us money to change our opinion. This is not a company that has went out of their way to give anybody I know money. They're a company I know that I believe is doing the right thing by every Linux user's enthusiast attitude that there is. They're trying to make as open hardware as possible and offer it to people at as fair of a price as they can. Every company has to make money, including Think Penguin.
That's correct. All right, so let's just jump right into it, Dora. You threw a majority of the links in this week, so what do we have for this week?
Yeah, sure, dude. First off, I want to thank everyone who was kind enough to send us some feedback about the uh, microcomputer show.
Yes.
Yeah, more than a couple people pinged me on it and said yes. They said they don't listen to it. So this might be the last show that I give a lot of news and information about these microcomputer kind of things because while they are Linux related, I do think the typical Linux desktop user isn't terribly interested in them. At least that's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to separate that out to a new show. Unaware of the time frame of that, it could take a couple weeks, might take a touch longer, but it is going to be in the works. And if you really want it, let me know because nothing's written in stone yet. Constant encouragement will definitely make it happen. And the first thing I want to talk about, to be honest, I thought this was pretty cool. Um, I don't remember where I actually saw it first, but I think it's a really good idea. It's somebody who took a Raspberry Pi and they basically started a Kickstarter on it. And it's called the Slice. It's basically a Raspberry Pi Model A, which is the smaller of the Raspberry Pis, no Ethernet port on it, stuff like that. And it's a standalone home theater device that is really intended to stream content um, over your network to your TV and stuff. And it does have a internal hard drive in it. It isn't huge, but it is something. Um, and I'll just say it like this: it's a really good-looking device. These kind of things don't have to be good-looking. I think they went out of their way to make it good-looking. It does have Ethernet built in, so you can technically connect it to a network, but there's no wireless built in.
Yeah, it's definitely a slick little machine. If I'm looking at it correct, that may even be a little LED strip in the front. It is for when it's
Yeah,
powered on. Yeah, it looks like a little, almost like a micro DVR or something.
yeah. This is the kind of thing I honestly believe has a chance of taking the home theater experience, giving you, the advanced user, the ability to customize it and manage it in such a way, but yet have it easy enough to use for your spouse of
Hmm.
any age or whatever. Um, this is only like step one. With that said, I don't think these guys are going to be crazy successful because the first one into this arena rarely is, but I think these guys have a really good chance to be around in a year and 2 years to keep innovating and keep improving their product.
Well, let me throw my 2 cents on what you just said about the sort of the early entrants. It's not that they won't be successful, it's that the product may not take off to their liking, but the fact that they are in the market early, they're going to be able to learn from those mistakes and come out with V2 and V3 to completely dominate the playing field if they play it right.
Yes. And that's the whole thing. It's going to be, I don't want to say a pace war. I think this is a really good first step. The interface looks really good. The hardware looks really good. The remote looks really good. And now they're just going to have to, in 6 months or 8 months, hopefully innovate a little bit again, whether it's just the OS doing an update or, in like a year, update the hardware maybe and keep pushing this envelope further and further because I do think they're on the correct path.
Yeah, yeah, it looks like a good start so far. I especially like that remote. The remote is very minimalist. It's very clean, and yeah, it's definitely has that spousal approval factor that we've talked about before over a variety of topics. But I mean, I'm sure if you were to hand this to pretty much anyone in your household, they get the gist of it. It reminds me of almost like a Roku remote, but it's about a third of the thickness. It's really really tiny. So yeah, I'm excited to take a look. And the fact that it runs on a Model A.
Yeah.
Keep in mind the Model A 256 megs of RAM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was watching a Ben Heck show where he was taking the Model A and he made a little board next to it to handle some of the other stuff. Um,
Mm.
the Model A has basically the same processor, the same power just about of the Model B, which is the full size one. There's just less ports on it, but also there's a lot less cost involved with it. So they were able to reduce the cost of a Raspberry Pi, which is only $35, reduce it down by getting the A, putting their own board on there, room for hard drive, putting attention to detail in the case and the moat. Um, I would say they were really smart about it. I think they set up, and I'm not a firm believer in a huge amount of these Kickstarters. A, making their goal and then coming out with products. These guys made their goal very quickly, came out with products. Um, they're on a great start.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Very, very clean looking product. We'll definitely have to keep our eye on them because it yeah, definitely looks like a good entrance into this type of market with this kind of internal hardware.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, now what I saw next, I instantly thought of you, Martin, Jeff Hallish, Knucklehead Tech, Liam Tidwell, Tracy Holt. I kept thinking of everybody who's in a position to be what I call a solutions provider. And when I say solutions provider, what it really is, it's nothing more than the guy who helps somebody else find a way to do what they want to do. That's all it is. And I will say, I thought this was a really smart thing. All it is, it's a Raspberry Pi operating system, basically, that's completely customized for digital signage. Um, Digital signage, digital advertising, digital billboards, whatever you want to call it. It's basically a super cheap and affordable way to turn any kind of monitor into a rotating um, gallery of images, whether you want to show off ads or like in the Linux for the Rest of Us Google Plus group, the guy who basically is a doctor at a doctor's office and he set up a spare monitor out front pointing to his lobby, hooked up the Raspberry Pi. Now he has a digital sign rotating on that screen, informing his customers about services or changes in services. I just think this is the kind of thing that really can make you look good.
Yeah, this is perfect. I'm actually getting ready to implement something just like this at work, so I will definitely give this a try. I have obviously I've talked before about the video loop that I have with the Raspberry Pi that's now running on two monitors at the store, which is bringing in a lot of foot traffic. And to have something like this to call out other possible promotions, sales, or what have you, would be beneficial as well. So there's a variety of uses for this, and it should be able to even run on, I mean, on every single Raspberry Pi. And I haven't run this myself, but I will say in the case of the video one, you literally just have the images or video in a folder. You boot it up, it just starts cycling through them. So hopefully it'll
Right.
be that easy.
Yeah, and this is at binaryemotions.com is the website. I downloaded, I looked at it. There's no rocket science with this whatsoever, and that's what I like about it. You basically burn the image, put the images in a folder, and away you go.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to checking this out.
Right. Okay. What I want to bring next is I mentioned it offhandedly, and then Lord D agreed with me basically. Well, he said it, and I said, well, yes, that's exactly how I feel because that's the exact same thing that I said, and that is the Raspberry Pi is the Ubuntu of these microcomputers. With so it isn't the quote unquote best, but it is the quote unquote best if you just want your solution to work with as little research as possible, with as much community support as possible, and with as much choice in what path you want to take toward your solution as possible. Okay. With that said, I'm really a fan of the Banana series. Banana Pi, Banana Pro is completely open hardware. Um, no closed source GPU binary blob whatsoever with built-in extra bells and whistles, aka wireless dongle already built into it, Bluetooth built into it, SATA built into it, reset, all that kind of stuff built into it. So to me, it's a much better option for me. But I found this guy's blog, uh, Micronauts, I want to say is how you pronounce that. Micronauts.com. This guy has a metric ton of different benchmarks and comparisons for Raspberry Pi A, Raspberry Pi B, Raspberry Pi 2A, Raspberry Pi 2B, Banana Pi, Banana Pro, Odroid, Parallax, Morpheus, um, all kinds of different hardware. He has more than a couple YouTube videos as well. His YouTube videos are pretty good. They're very technical. They're not just showcasing stuff. They're actually technical comparisons of these boards side by side by side. Like for right now, the Banana Pi and the Banana Pro, their GPU is not as efficient as the Raspberry Pi because the Raspberry Pi is a closed source provided by the vendor driver. So the Raspberry Pi still outperforms in displaying 1080p plus video. So if you want to display streaming video or local video through your small computing device, you really should go with the Raspberry Pi. Um, I cannot encourage people enough. If you're interested in these at all, check out this guy's website, check out this guy's video. It's Micronauts. And B, when I just randomly left a comment on one of his videos, he literally pinged me back in less than I want to say maybe 2 hours. This guy actually, which I love.
That's pretty quick. And
But
yeah,
yeah,
I'm looking at this site, and yeah, this is packed,
yeah, yeah,
packed with data. This is insane. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of gegeek.com.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever go there, you're just like comprehensive database of anything software, computer repair related ever. And this is really packed with. I mean, just I'm thinking that's at least a list of 80, if not 100 of these different boards with benchmarks and all sorts of data. This is insane.
Yes, and what I like is now I don't feel alone. There's somebody else with the exact same problem I have. So I feel good. I found a brother. Um, I'm going to put all the links to what I thought was relevant when I asked him about benchmarking and reviews. He sent me a bunch of links, so all those links are going to be in the show.
Very nice. Yeah, check the show notes and we'll have those in there for you for sure.
Right. What I'm going to bring next, I also pinged this guy, and I want to say his name is pronounced Ryad, Ryad. Another guy, seems like a really nice guy, really straightforward guy. I can't pronounce the domain, so it's going to be in the show. This guy creates custom distributions for Banana hardware, so Banana Pi, Banana Pro. Um, this is the kind of guy that you have to follow if you want to get something uniquely and not well documented done on the Banana products. He He does great, fantastic work. He communicates with everybody. If you go down to the bottom of this page, every dark rectangle you see is him commenting back to the people. So he's very interactive. He's helping people out a lot. He's instructing people what to do. He's fixing bugs. He's constantly keeping this stuff up to date. But this is a Banana Pi Arch Linux customized distribution, which off the bat has stuff like FB Turbo Slim LXDE, XFCE4 Yogurt, or some people call it yogurt. That's the Arch, um, the AUR package repository tool,
Right.
VLC, MPlayer, XBMC, Cody, Firefox, WScan. He has versions built explicitly for the uh, Pi Pro, which basically at boot time you run just like you do on the Raspberry Pi. Raspberry config, you run banana config, and you select are you on the Pi or the Pro, and it automatically loads the correct drivers and tweaks the processor settings and the memory settings to correctly maximize what piece of hardware you have. These kind of people really, I think, are the reason any of this hardware is successful. And I'm going to try to have them on the show here soon.
Yeah, someone out there doing something like this, because you're right. There are some in several things that we've been investigating in the last few weeks, as far as compatibility across these different SBCs, we're seeing, Raspberry Pi, obviously, full support, or certain things will be in beta or not supported. And the Banana Pi itself is becoming more supported, but the Pro still not support for a lot of things, or it's still kind of unstable. They'll label it that way. But to see someone like this doing sort of custom, ask me what you want and I'll make it. That's very, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And, man, I need more time in the day, is all I want to say. I wish I had more time in the day just to play with these mini computers, trying to do different things. Because the beautiful thing about them is, unlike a laptop or desktop, you install your operating system, and then if you mess it up, you're like, oh, I gotta reinstall my operating system. I don't want to reinstall, blah 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 blah. Well, with these, you don't have to do that. With these, you basically can image the SD card really quickly, really easy. It only takes a couple of minutes, and then and then you just slap it back in the device. And if you mess it up, you just take it out of the device, put it back in your computer, and reimage it, and you're just where you were, 20 minutes ago. So I love the easiness which it is to just play with these devices.
Yeah, and even if you didn't have an image, I mean, an image flashed from maybe your configuration after you set it up and everything. It doesn't take that long to flash, a stock image that you would just download from somewhere anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I remember having to do it when I was first setting up that video looper. I had to do it like 8 times
Right.
in a night, but it was less than 90 minutes, and I finally got it up and running. I was like, oh, that's what I did incorrectly. Okay, well it was just easy to get going.
Right. Okay. Now this next one, let's just say I'm a little bit giddy to talk about, partially because we're using it for the first time right here, right now, live show. I often test in production and I say, why not? If you don't want to test in production off my lawn, everyone should test in production. It's the newest thing. It's the new black, it's hip to be square. So, okay,
Because if the S is about to hit the fan, why not be doing it live?
right. Okay, this is called OBS. I was pointed this way by actually Matthew Williams, Lord D, and Venstone from Linux Gamecast, linuxgamecast.com, your weekly show on all things gaming in Linux with blunt, honest opinion.
Shout outs to Chat Realm.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Ven, in very Ven fashion, in my experience with him, I asked him, "What do you suggest I do if I want to start doing some kind of video stuff?" And he just pointed me at a URL and said, "You got it, bro." So, and that was it. And I knew, okay, now I should not go back and ask him any questions because he doesn't expect me to have to, so I'm not going to try to ask him any questions. And then I click the link and I go there, and it's open broadcast software, free open source software, live streaming and recording. Wow, this is really good. I find out it's I believe, fork of Webcam Studio, whatever, whatever,
I did
whatever.
not know. That's cool. Okay.
and it's at obsproject.com, and I go there and I hover over top the get OBS multi-platform Linux, and it says coming soon, and I'm like, how in the hell would Vin Stone point me to download something when he knows I use Linux? He uses Linux. Is he trying to mess with me or something? And I really wasn't sure. So then I just did a Google search, running Ubuntu GNOME edition on this box, 1404. So I just Google search OBS Ubuntu 1404, and voila, right in there, forums, there's 4 commands basically you install, and you have yourself OBS Studio. I don't think it's full, like quote unquote, ready for prime time, but it works. I can tell you, it's very easy to set up multiple scenes, very easy to set up multiple inputs, very easy to change the quality settings for audio and for video, very easy to record locally and not stream, very easy to stream to multiple sources, including YouTube, Twitch, and at least 3 or 4 other services. Very easy to do thumbnail images. What I like the fact on GNOME, at least, I don't know about any other desktop, I have my production software on one desktop. When I'm on that desktop, it's not showing that desktop on OBS. I picked a window to show that's on a different desktop. So when I'm clicking in this interface, people are seeing the mouse apparently randomly move, but it's me manipulating the OBS software. So if I could hide the mouse pointer when I'm not on that window, it would be perfect. But and if you don't like something, you can't gripe about it. That's my only gripe right now, is that it does not let me do that.
So, oh yeah, okay. I had a more in-depth question, which I guess we can just address off air. But yeah, the first week, and of course, the very first week we have this going, I don't have my webcam plugged in because I'm using a secondary machine because I'm having awful PC problems. So I hope that my static image is streaming for you just good enough.
Looks gorgeous.
It always does. I mean, why wouldn't it, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. The next thing I stumbled across, I was not sure how to think about it. I wasn't sure what to say about it. I wasn't sure what the hell was going on here. Okay. I don't remember how I stumbled across this, but it is Extra PC, XTRA-PC, extra-pc.com. It says Extra PC is the easy, affordable way to have an extra PC. What? Extra PC software makes Windows XP computers useful again. What? I was a little bit confused here. What am I looking at here? What is this thing saying? And I do just a little bit more looking, and what I notice is it says lose the security risk, have a fresher, faster computer, and they basically flaunt on one page. You can get Minecraft, Google Docs, Google Drive, Open Office. That was the first thing that tipped me off. You can get Netflix. Oh, really, Netflix? You can get Amazon Prime Video and all this stuff safely. Just send us $9. I believe it was $9.
$9.99.
$9.99. Yes.
Yes.
So me being me, I thought, wait a minute. I think I need to play with this. So what did I do?
You ordered it.
I ordered the thing and I bought it. Okay. Now, this is what I can tell people right now. This is basically a customized, themed, branded Ubuntu DVD. There's not much more to it than that. I'll tell you what I really wish this software was going to do. I really wish this was going to do. The problem is not necessarily how is a new user going to run Linux. The real problem is how is the newest user going to initially transfer over to Linux. I was hoping,
right.
What I was really hoping is I would put this in a Windows computer, a window would pop up, and it would say, hey, we see you're running Windows blah, 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 blah. do you want to start to transition over to Extra PC? You say yes, and then I was hoping it would do something like scan the hard drive, find all the Word docs, all the spreadsheets, all the PDFs, and basically put them on the side in a list. It would basically just have to be a text file in the root of the C drive.
An assisted migration tool.
Exactly. Then say, okay, now are you ready to start the process? And now if you complete this process, you will lose your Windows installation and you will only have Extra PC left or something to that effect. And then simply reboot the computer. In modern Windows computers, it's very easy to set a switch in the OS to make it force boot to a CD, because this does not do that. The user has to figure out how to boot to a CD. The newest of the newest user who wants to change, who needs the hand holding, who will pay the money for this kind of thing, will not understand how to make it boot to a CD. And they have links on their website to tell you how to do it, but that's going to be a hard hurdle for them to overcome. Okay. But then I wanted it to basically reboot, read the text file in the root of the C drive, copy all the files off to whatever, install the operating system, copy the files back, reboot, and voila, you have yourself a Ubuntu-based operating system where everything just works. And they didn't do none of that. That honestly made me a little bit upset. But I will say I was very pleasantly, I don't want to say impressed, pleased. I was pleased when I booted the operating system up. It's a Ubuntu-based desktop. Okay, Ubuntu, I believe 14.04. A little bit hard to tell because they did some jiggering there on the back end. But one of the things I actually loved was I looked through all of the menu and all the desktop icons, and no place did it even say terminal. I want that. If I'm supporting somebody and I give this them, to have as their first length thing, I don't even want them to see a terminal, because the modern user's experience should almost never experience going into the terminal unless they want to do something ultra specific. And if they want to do something ultra specific, they're not the newest of the newest users.
Yeah, ultra specific, like copying and pasting RM commands from Google.
Exactly. So you just have to Control Alt T when you're in the desktop and you have terminal. And I like that because me as a Linux guy, I know that's how I get a terminal in most desktops. So I don't need it in the menu. And the newest user doesn't want to see it in the menu because it only confuses them. And I will say there was a couple things in this desktop that literally made me a little bit happy. I'm going to switch my monitor over to it right now so I can just see it. Right from the start, boots up, forces you to create a username or a password. The default username is administrator. You can make more users if you want. In the interface, it's very easy, but it forces you then to create a password. First time logging in, because of legal restrictions, the first thing it does is it loads the Chromium browser and goes and downloads Silverlight, Pipelight, Silverlight, Moonlight, whatever, Light. That enables it to do, I believe, Amazon Video and Netflix, because they cannot distribute Chrome, I believe, only Chromium, where Chrome has native support for Linux, so they use Chromium. Okay, it does that, then it closes the window. Then on your desktop, you see Netflix, Amazon Video, Chromium web browser, OpenOffice. I'm okay with OpenOffice. Okay, email, which I believe is Thunderbird, Pigeon Instant Messenger. Pigeon is the most user-friendly chatting IRC application on the planet, and it's completely cross-platform. So I'm much in favor of that. Kindle Cloud Reader, how can you go wrong with that?
Yeah. Wow.
Facebook link, why? Because people want Facebook, I don't.
Yes.
And they have Pandora link right there. Pinterest, they have Pinterest.
So Steve C is covered,
I guess. And then they have Minecraft, where when you first double-click Minecraft, all it does is it downloads a blob from a Amazon instance, and then boom, you have Minecraft. No work at all. Okay? But the thing I really liked was you go to the start menu, you have Chromium web browser, then you have EM and email and instant messenger, you have media, Amazon Videos, DVD player right there, no extra work needed, music and MP3 player, so MP3 stuff right there, Netflix, photo viewer, OpenOffice, Minecraft, file manager. When you go into the local administrator, there's no synaptic, there's no terminal, there's none of that. What you see is printers, where it's right there, Brother tool, HP tool, Lexmark tool built right in. So it's very easy to get those printers going.
Very nice.
Useful tools, fixed DVD player. What that basically is going to do is going to refresh your drivers, which is good. Restore desktop app shortcuts. So if you accidentally delete an icon off the desktop, boom, boom, you get it right back. Date time, desktop preferences, a nice desktop preferences interface. Monitor resolution settings, and then here's one of the coup de grace. And Martin O'Bando should be able to attest to this. Right there, off, as soon as you launch, multi-monitor configuration. Not every Linux desktop handles multi-monitor great. And to do it in a user-friendly-ish fashion, which this does good, I'm not going to say great, it does good, that to me is a real good win. After that, you just have network connections, which they'll never need. Power manager only if you're on a laptop. Screensaver, I don't know who would ever, if this is 2015, whatever. And then user accounts. Dare I say, the interface, the end user interface for this operating system, they did pretty. I got to give these guys a serious tip of the hat. They did pretty good. You can download it for $9.99, or you can buy it for a disc for $15. I understand that that's a huge barrier to some people. To some people, that's much too much of a barrier, but to some people, that's not. And what I will encourage people is just think about this. I'm not saying go out and support them, but what I will say, if we don't support someone financially with an operating system sooner or later, I don't know how Linux is going to hit the broad mainstream, because somebody's going to need to start making money so they can afford advertisers and pay distributors to put it on hardware, in my opinion.
Yeah, it sounds like these guys did their due diligence and really catered it to a very specific group, and possibly went through many iterations of it before releasing it. Because when I first read this link a few days ago, and as you're talking about it, I'm thinking, well, what if this happens, or what if my dad does this, so on and so forth. And everything that you explained pretty much answered all those questions. So, if they had that migration tool, man, I think that would be a nice game changer. In fact, can you think of a single Linux distro that has a really good migration tool?
Well, none have quote unquote a fully baked proper one, which would require a Windows client, in my opinion, to run on the Windows side. Ubuntu and that installer, I believe, does give you the opportunity to copy over documents and settings from your Windows installation to your Linux setting, but that's as close as they get.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, very neat. Yeah, so if you know anybody in need of something like this, who maybe needs some extra guided hand-holding beyond guided install, maybe an Ubuntu or a Mint, this may be up their alley.
Well, yeah, and I encourage people, whenever money comes into the equation, don't believe me, okay? Don't believe me. Look for yourself, examine it for yourself, look at other people's reviews, and see what you think. Personally, if I had to support 5 people even, I would consider doing this just because of consistency between their desktops. To me, it's a little bit vague on what kind of support they offer. I do believe you actually can get a phone number 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Mountain Time and basically call them up. So if you have questions, go to the website. It's a 1-800 number. Call them up. Adam from Colorado will be more than happy to talk to you.
Wow. Very interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Not sure how far that will go, but I found it interesting.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, this one I almost had to bring in. I'm 99.999% sure this was actually a Mary P link that I saw, and this is on X Moodle. It's advertised as how to access Gmail from the command line with Linux Alpine. It's almost misleading. Okay, Pine was a command line email application. Alpine is the next iteration of it. I don't want to say the next generation, but it's the next iteration of it. And basically, it is email on the command line. It's it's really difficult for me to say who this is for, why to use this, but what I can say is if you need a less cluttered inbox, if you need a quiet interface to your email where you don't have to worry about ads and stuff on the side, this might actually be a really good choice. Installation is a snap, really easy. It's basically apt-get install apt-get install Alpine. When it comes to the configuration, that's where it's definitely a little bit more work. I did see a YouTube video that literally took you step by step by step by step through the Gmail process, but if you scroll down on this website, it does tell you the steps to get your Alpine linked to your Gmail. So it's not hard, it's just detail oriented, if you will.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Pine. I've seen some. I mean, this was years and years ago, but way to check your email via the command line. And then there was that. No, I mean, yeah. Anyway, yeah, it looks neat. I wouldn't mind giving it a try because, do you remember what the name of that that site was that you could go to where it was Google, but it was a command line version of it? Do you remember?
I can't remember what it was called, but I do remember it. Yes.
But yeah, but Steve C was talking about bringing it up to search for stuff while he was at a customer's house, or somebody did on Podnutz, and they just look at you like, oh wow, this guy really knows his stuff. Look at that. I can't even read that. I remember trying at a customer's house once, just like, and she just was in awe. She's like, I'm gonna leave you be. You just do your thing. Whereas if you're just on Google, they might raise some suspicions, but
Right.
But this is a little more polished.
Well, yeah, and the other thing I'll say where this is honestly pretty, if not, in my opinion, very useful. Raspberry Pi, Banana Pi, microcomputer, small screen off to the side. You can just have that window up full time, just showing you what your inbox is. It updates on its own. Um, you know, I like to think of it as a quiet interface, so the ADHD people in us all can actually get stuff done without, stressing over it.
Yeah.
Okay. This next one, I seriously have a really hard time even describing this next one, Cody. That's because the documentation for it seems so bad, but it seems really cool. It's at thehindu.com, which I don't think is based in Baltimore, Maryland, but, okay, whatever. The name of the article is A Candy from Computer Geeks. Okay. Basically, a bunch of students, and what it looks like to me is very high school or college students, a group of them got together and decided to basically make their own operating system. It's called Candy OS. Candy OS is command line only. Candy Pro has a GUI, and Candy XINU is their GUI developer version. Candy Pro is only 32-bit architecture, but their Candy OS CLI is actually made to run on the Raspberry Pi. It's all written in assembly. Okay, now assembly is not writing straight zeros and ones, but it's really close to it, which tells me this should be an extremely small operating system, but also a kind of efficient operating system. But I couldn't find any download links. I looked. And the problem is it's called Candy OS. Candy is not a unique word. It's a very
Nope.
it's a very common word. So
Yep.
I could not, to save my life, find a download link for this anywhere because I really did want to try it. I love the idea of basically people getting it in their head they want to make an operating system and then doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe we could probably search around with some of the names of the developers and see if anything else pops up.
Okay, I didn't think of that. I was hoping it would
That's why I'm
say,
here, Door.
oh,
You're welcome.
that's why you're good. I was really hoping it was going to say something like posted over here at GitHub, but you know, kind of didn't do that.
For
Okay.
instance, oh yeah, okay. So yeah, I just plugged one of the students' names and Candy OS into Google, and then yep. So yeah, the actual website is candyos.in.
CandyOS.in.
Yep, download link at the top.
Candy what? Candy what?
Candyos.in.
Oh, it wasn't that I couldn't hear you, didn't mean louder. It's just I'm an idiot.
So then,
Candy OS.
you want me to repeat it the same volume?
Yes, I'm sorry I couldn't hear.
Okay. Hey
Maybe
Door. Hey Door.
maybe if you would have said it
Hey Door.
slower when
Hey
I
Door.
did it. Yes,
Hey
sir.
Door. The link was candyos.in.
I'm sorry, you said IN, right?
It was candyos.in.
I gotcha.
Was that sufficient volume level for you?
I'm typing it still.
This is how it's like when we argue every day on Boxer, folks.
Okay, this is. I'm gonna have to try to get this thing installed.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, I just want to try it so I can try it because I just like seeing what these kind of people can come up with. And they downloaded a zip file. Well, that's fail number one. Oh wait, I'm starting to sound like Ven.
Take a shot.
Take a shot.
At the end of the day.
I do not have any more links, Cody. I do have my list ready. There's basically 72 people for this Nexus 4 giveaway. What I will encourage people, do not despair. Okay, this is not going to be the last giveaway. There will be more. It's just a question of when and what it will be. I will say, if you guys out there see anything you think is cool, see anything you think is interesting, think something could apply as a giveaway, whether it's a just a little piece of hardware, whether it's a microcomputer, whether it's a membership to a site, whether it's extra dash PC, I don't know. Just ping me, let me know. Ideas are always welcome, always welcome. But this is for Nexus 4 with the Ubuntu Touch operating system on it.
Now, do we want to give away the phone first or do our review of Ubuntu Touch OS first?
Well, you go ahead and you tell me what you think of it.
All right. So, Door played with the device for a while and he sent it to me. And I'm going to try to limit my thoughts on the hardware itself, obviously, because it's a Nexus device. I love the Nexus devices. However, the one thing I do want to say is that in terms of the hardware, excuse me, I didn't know if a few of the normal options with Nexus 4 were going to be working in Ubuntu Touch. The one thing I've been using lately with my Nexus 5 and my Nexus 6 is one of the Qi chargers, just the wireless charging pads. And in Ubuntu Touch, it worked just fine on the Nexus 4. So if that was something that you guys knew about, that was curious if it worked, it did. It's hardware based, so I was hoping it would work, and it did work just fine. My impressions of the OS overall were very positive. I think that part of it was the fact that the last time I ran it was in like one of like the pre-alphas on my Nexus 7. This was over 2 years ago, to the point where when I ran it back then, a lot of the stuff was just kind of broken. It wasn't working, but I knew that going into it. I would say that the speed of the overall experience on the device compared to running on the actual Ubuntu phone made by BQ, the one on the market now. In some videos I watched, it was very comparable. One would outperform by maybe a second or two on certain applications, and then the other would, vice versa. So very, very positive experience there in terms of speed. I used it as my main web navigating device for a day, and I'll get into why that that is a very deliberate, specific sentence. And yeah, it was great. I have a device on me at all times to do searching for customers throughout the day on different items, and it worked great. Connecting to Wi-Fi, I threw my T-Mobile SIM card into it. Worked just fine. I got 3G speeds. I think I had SPA plus for a little bit, but it didn't really bother me. I mainly ran it off Wi-Fi all day, and web pages loaded just fine. They have the different lenses and the different, or excuse me, lenses. I tried several. I tried the media player, which worked just fine. Amazon kind of went to, it was almost like going to like a mobile version of Amazon, worked just fine. I was very, very pleased with the speed at which a lot of the experience performed at, because that was one thing I was skeptical about, not just on the hardware side, but how snappy is this going to be? Because I'm a borderline Android power user, and I kind of have expectations, but I was going in trying to be very objective. Um, Overall, I had very, very positive experience with it. I will say though, I mirror a lot of things that Door were saying, mainly on some limitations, some things that the device, or I shouldn't say the device, but the operating system cannot do right now. But I will throw that over to Door, since I don't want to hog the entire review.
Well, I'll say first, the Nexus 4 hardware I really like.
Oh yeah,
To me, it was really good hardware. Yes, much smaller interface than whatever anybody is used to in a quote unquote modern phone from today. But it was really nice. It felt really good. It had really good hand feel if you look at it.
it's a really solid device. It was LG's first foray into making the Nexus device. It's a really solid phone.
Right. And the specs on it are all good. Nothing's fantastic about it, but it's all good, solid specs. It's 4 inches inside, in a size, a 1.5 quad core processor, 2 gigs of RAM. That to me is the real good thing about that phone. Even though it's now well over a year old, 2 gigs of RAM, so it runs pretty smooth. The other good thing I like about the device is you can install right now, today, you can install Android on it, almost all kinds of versions of Android on it. You can install Ubuntu Touch on it. You can install Tizen on it. You can install Sailfish OS, which is the Java OS on it. There's a whole bunch of them you can install right now on it with very little effort. So it's a really cool experimentation device. Okay. My first boot into the Ubuntu OS, I was blown away at how crisp, how clean everything was. I loved how it held your hand just enough during that first boot sequence. Welcome to Ubuntu Touch.
Mm.
Click up to do this, click down to do that, drag right to do this, drag left to do that, and it gave you a tutorial, a little step through on here's how you get everything done with Ubuntu Touch. And it did everything I expected it to do. I have a Firefox phone. It didn't do what I was expecting it to do because it would sometimes work. Sometimes my swipe would count as a swipe. Sometimes it would count as a touch. Sometimes it would, and that was just a weird hardware thing. The only thing lacking with this device is the apps.
Yeah.
There's not enough apps. And me, being me, deeply entrenched in the Android ecosystem, I can't survive with this device. Okay? There's no Voxer. There's nothing like Voxer on it, even remotely close. There is no speed playback I found in any kind of media. I only found, I think, one podcasting app where it would let me subscribe to podcasts and download podcasts, but there was no playback speed. To me, those two things are really bad killers. If it could do turn-by-turn directions, I couldn't figure it out. To me, this is a great device for someone who wants to be at arm's length away from the Googleverse. If you insist you want to be far away from the Googleverse, this would probably be a really good device for you. But not for me.
Let me also speak to you about the opening animation. Much like Dor said, the graphically it was very crisp. The boot time was surprisingly fast. I didn't happen to. I just don't use a lot of social media right now aside from Twitter and G Plus. So like, I couldn't take advantage of the Facebook integration with that notification circle in the beginning. I didn't set up. I just had my SIM card in it for a couple hours, so I didn't get any text messages during that period of time. I didn't get any phone calls, so I didn't happen to experience that piece of that. However, one of the things that was very confusing in the beginning, but ultimately I liked, and ultimately I was expecting it on Android when I went back, was the fact that you can do the pull down menu from the top, and depending on where your thumb or that finger is placed on the screen from left to right or anywhere in between, will access a different kind of sub menu.
Yeah.
So you can pull down. You could be on maybe settings and then go left to right and then hit different setting menus, which I thought was really neat. And going back and forth between that and then pulling in from the left to bring up the launcher dock was very, very seamless. But it took a little bit of getting used to. And I will say, Door's experience with the podcast player, I didn't try the podcast player. I just threw an album on it and listened to it, and brought up the album art, just fine. Played the music okay. I thought, well, that's enough for me right now. But I already listened to Door saying that he couldn't find a way to do variable speed audio playback on podcasts, and that's all I do now is between 1.5 and 1.8.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the problem is not with the OS even. This is what anybody now getting into the market is going to have a super difficult time, and that is, how are you going to catch up with the application ecosystem, the app stores
Mm-hmm.
on Apple and Android devices? Unless you support like installing Android APKs, I don't see how you can do it. I do not see how any company can do it. Any company in the universe who right now wants to start doing a mobile phone, if you do not support Android APKs or somehow Apple apps, it will take a miracle for you to succeed. Okay, number one, good luck to them is all I gotta say. Two, the main reason we're giving away this phone is because they even advertise at the end of their video on Ubuntu, the Ubuntu Touch, you can get the BQ device right now. Well, you can, but it's useless to get that in America because it won't work. So people who say they have it, great. I give you a golf clap. It's useless. It is really useless. You might as well have a flip phone in your pocket. That's how useless it is. This
The
next
best
is 10 times more useful.
Yeah, the best data you can get in the United States with any of the major carriers and even most of the MVNOs is 2G.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember 2G, but wow.
Yeah. Okay. A week after getting cable internet at your house, do you think you could go back to 28.8 or 14.4 without literally punching someone or putting your head through a wall in your house? I don't think so.
No way.
And if you can, well, guess what? You ain't like me, and this
Right.
phone and that BQ phone might be for you.
Right.
But I'm going to guess that's not anybody who listens to this show.
Yeah, and I'll say I have nothing negative to say. Definitely nothing negative to say about the hardware. Definitely nothing negative to say about the software, the experience.
Right.
It is matured to such a degree where, yes, it is now a viable platform. But much like what Dor said, I don't know if they necessarily have to catch up in terms of apps. One of the things, I mean, that's part of my next argument, but they also need to take into account what kind of experience are users expecting, or what more importantly, what do people need in a smartphone experience? For instance, one of the things that I do daily and that Door does daily, Wi-Fi tethering.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can't do it on this device.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Nope, nope, nope.
No, with Ubuntu Touch. At least there was no way I could find it, and no way he could find it. And he and I researched it independently. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a biggie. And then my reliance upon certain Android apps it was almost sick because me realizing that and okay, so the 2 hours I used it as my only device. I have my Nexus 6 in my pocket, but I literally shut it off. But the fact that I was not getting any Voxer notifications, no texts, no eBay notifications, nothing was it wasn't comforting. It's almost like I'm just so trained to expect that kind of stimuli throughout the day that it was odd to have it not there.
Yeah, painful.
Yeah, which is kind of sad, but at the same time, yes. If could Ubuntu Touch be my primary smartphone OS right now? No, no. No, I want to say no, and I don't want to say not even close because I would say that 85 to 90% of the stuff I need to do day to day, it would do just fine. But that other 10%, that's a meaty 10%.
Yeah. And here's the real stickler to me. Right now. If this was Las Vegas and I had to put bets and say who would be the next number 3 phone OS in the world, my money would be on Sailfish OS by far. I mean, like literally 10 to 1, I would be putting my money on Sailfish, which is Yalla or Jalla, Jolla. Yola, thank you very much. And that's because their native Sailfish OS on devices they put it on support a Android compatibility layer. Now, it's not going to be 100%. There's no way it's going to play the higher end games greatly. There's
Right.
no way it's going to do everything that we can do in Android, but it's going to do something. And everything I can tell, it seems to me like that company is pretty smart and they're on the right path. This Ubuntu phone is good for what it is. I wish them nothing but luck, but I don't know how. I don't know what path they have to take in order to be really successful with this in 3 years, 5 years moving forward. But they're going to need to do something.
Yeah. But ultimately, here's the thing. Much like the way that Ubuntu changed from 10.10 to 11.04, a lot of the sort of outcry was it's not for us anymore. The people that brought them here, the power users. And the truth of that is, you're right, it's not for us anymore.
Right.
They need to attract a bigger market of the every person, the basic user. Would the basic user be able to navigate this just upon boot? Of course.
Yeah.
But it's not going to meet the needs of the most advanced. But if you think of the most advanced, they're probably dead set into their iPhone ecosystem or their iOS ecosystem or Android ecosystem, to where it would have to be like, I can't obviously. I mean, okay. Here's the sad part. Sad, sick, call it what you will. If tomorrow they had Voxer and they had Wi-Fi tethering,
Mm-hmm.
I probably still wouldn't go because they still have a long ways to go in other areas too. So part of it, I guess a tiny part of it for me is comfort, but then again, I'm used to going through many different operating systems. I used to be an iOS user, used Windows, Mac, and Linux for years. But yeah, ultimately, I think that the market they're going for, and the fact they're not widespread releasing it in the United States, says a lot on where they're planning on being successful with this.
Right.
And you spoke very distinctly in the beginning too about how. So yeah, I actually haven't used Firefox OS. Can you speak just for a minute? I mean, I don't need you to go comparison side by side, but you had an actual Firefox OS device.
Oh yeah.
Still do now.
Yeah.
Can you talk about maybe just kind of the overall impression that put on you versus this?
Okay, Android. What I'll do is I'll stair step it.
Sure.
Android didn't have to have developers on board for every stage of their development. Basically, to create the extra stuff, which was very key to their success, but to create their extra stuffs. Their core competency, their core applications helped a lot of to draw a lot of users over. Ubuntu phone, they're going to need to rely on developers more, but they still have their core stuff going on. They have it going, it seems like, okay. Firefox phone would need tons of developers day one in order to really be successful. HTML phone basically ran really fast. The hardware that I had was the developer edition, very non-spectacular, teeny tiny little phone with very buggy interfaces kind of thing. But I saw what they were trying to do. That's the one I really wish got the attention and really got the developers and really got the fans and really got people excited, because that phone to me had promise because it was HTML based, much easier for anyone to create an application for. But it's getting seemingly no steam. But maybe in the third world, it's going to slowly pick up steam, and in 3 years, we could see it come back to the United States and be a respectable device. But right now, I just don't think it's there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Gives me a little bit more to think about in terms of the comparison between Firefox. Man, we just need WebOS to come back on a phone and just take the whole market over, don't we?
Well, that's Tizen basically. WebOS
Yeah.
is now evolved into Tizen, and I don't know if that's going to be successful. I don't know what it would take for that to be successful, to be honest. Samsung gets serious. I don't know. Okay, now we have two more people who joined during the show. Two people are added to the list. I love people. Um, so now there's 74 total people who could win this. Now what I'm going to ask, I have random.org up. Minimum number 1, maximum number 74. Cody, I'm going to ask you to pick a number between 1 and 10, and that's the number of times I'm going to hit the generate button.
Oh, okay. 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Good luck, everybody.
Number 5. Wow, that's a really low number. Number 5, Christopher Harbottle. I'm butchering that name. Christopher Harbottle will email you as soon as the show is done. A Texas fellow. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You have yourself a Nexus 4. I'm going to ask you to please email us your home address so we can get this device shipped out to you. There will be more stuff, people. Just a question of when. And I will say I'm going to do my best to have swag available for Linux Fest Northwest. So if you are in the area and you would like to try your chance at maybe a free shirt, maybe some stickers or something, you show up to Linux Fest Northwest, you have much better, your odds of winning something are much greater.
That's very true. And yeah, if you guys can make it out, man, it's going to be a blast. And we only kind of secured our attendance sort of even late in the game, not even 2 months out. So we're going to try better next time to sort of promote us going, get some more things going. However, there's still plenty of time. We got 30 days, 31 days from today will be the first day of the fest. We'll be doing some very fun things there, potentially posting some exclusive content directly into the feed, maybe some exclusive stuff for specifically for Linux for the Rest of Us Club members. So if you haven't already, please go to podnutz.com/Linux for the Rest of Us Club and sign up. It's absolutely free, and you'll be guaranteed to be entered to win any future contest. Aside from that, we're talking about maybe recording some chats in the van on the way up. What other kind of what kind of little teasers do we want to throw out there as far as what we're going to be delivering to the listeners while we're out there?
Hopefully some stuff, maybe with some things alongside of it. I seriously don't know. I will say we have 2 people bringing kids, and when I say kids, they're adults. They're just younger adults. I'm going to ask them, here's a camera with an SD card in it, 32 gigs. Take as many pictures as you want. And hopefully at the end of each one of those days, we'll be posting those pictures up. I have technically 2 portable recording devices. We're going to try to do something, try to do stuff, try to catch people, see if they want to talk. What are your thoughts of the conference? What's good about the conference? Is this better than last year? what are you looking forward to? Kind of questions. Um, if we can, we're going to try to get maybe a speaker or two to also talk about their experience being at the fest and how they thought that their talk went and what it's called, so people can hopefully view it after the fact quickly. It should be good times. I will just say that, and we're going to do everything we can to document as much of it, take pictures, and share the audio out. If you go to twitter.com/podnuts, that's where any live broadcast is going to be announced at. Um, the pictures, I don't know yet, so I'm not sure where that's going to be. If we record stuff, I'm going to literally try to get it processed that night. And if I can get it processed that night, I will publish it that night on this very audio RSS feed at podnutz.com/Linux for the rest of us.
Sounds good. I also want to give a big shout out to Paul G, who is in our Links for the Rest of Us dash Podnutz Google Plus group. But he threw out a link to us today about something that put a big old smile on my face, and that is the Bellingham Tap Trail. So Bellingham, Washington, you can check this out at bellinghamtaptrail.com. It's basically kind of like a pub crawl, but you get like a punch card, and the more of these places along the way that you go and get a pint, and you can get a punch on this card, and you can turn in the punch for swag, or the punch card rather, for swag having to do with the Bellingham Tap Trail. And I know the Northwest is famous for their microbreweries. I live in Oregon, just south of Washington. I love all the local beer here. I've had several of Washington's brews. It's fantastic. But to see something fun like this, man, I just Door, you better have someone prepared to carry me back to the room, or at least keep me in line somewhere, because this could get very interesting.
Well, it can. I'm going to admit that area of the country so far just seems much more personable, much more um, sociable, dare I say. So this is a completely foreign idea to me. Um, we're going to have to see how it goes because I don't know what to expect. This seems weird. Something tells me more than one of us are going to lose our card or passport really quickly, and somebody's going to be mad.
I've already thought of like a custom lanyard with like a pocket sleeve to put under my shirt. I've got the logistics in route. Just wait for them.
Yeah, see, it takes 16 stamps to get one of these cups, and I really like those cups. They look good.
They do look good. That's only about what? Let's see. That's only like 100 and wait, no. Yeah, it's probably about $110, $112 with tax for a cup. That's pretty cheap, right?
What? No.
Well, you figure 16 stamps, that's 16 pints.
Oh, hey, it's worth it.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because free cup.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
All
yeah.
right.
My wife got mad at me like when we got married, of course.
Of course.
I went to lunch one day for work, and she said, "Well, where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to this place." She said, "That's one of the shirts you wear, isn't it?" Yeah, it is. She said, "How much did the shirt cost you?" "Oh, nothing. They gave it to me." "They gave you a shirt?" "Yeah, they gave me a shirt." "Well, you must spend entirely too much money at that place if they're giving you a shirt." What? I like their sweet tea. I'm going to go get a sweet tea. How many sweet? And then she literally sat down and said, "How many sweet teas do you get a day?" "Oh, sometimes I get 4."
Oh my God.
4?
4.
Yeah, 4. And she said, "And do you get breakfast there?" "Well, sometimes." "What do you get for breakfast?" "Oh, like a French toast platter." "How much is a French toast platter?" "Well, it ain't too much. It's like, $6. "Okay." "And then you get lunch there sometimes?" "Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Really good lunch." "What do you get for lunch there?" "Oh, sometimes I get like a grilled chicken sub or something like that." "How much is that?" "Oh, I don't know, $9." Then she sat down. She said, "You spend almost $3,000 a year at that place. No wonder they give you a shirt. Stop going there."
But you got the shirt though.
It's a really nice shirt too.
It is. Yeah, and you wear it with pride.
Yeah, well, I did. Then she made me stop.
Oh, what?
Well, it turns out, a fellow like me at this age in my life becomes a little bit sensitive to sweet tea and kidney stones. So now I can't drink sweet tea
I was
anymore.
about to say, how have you drank that much tea without kidney stones? But yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, I say you wear it to bed every night, just a river.
I honestly think she like accidentally bleached
Right.
it.
Oh, it got ruined in the wash somehow, aka burned in the garage.
Yeah. Considering I'm the one that does the laundry, I don't know how it got bleached, but I think it did.
Right. She put it in a coffee can with a bag of Clorox or whatever. All right, cool. Well, congratulations again to the winner of the phone. Please stay tuned. We're gonna have lots more ramping up to Linux Fest Northwest. I cannot wait. All the guys in the box chat were just like, "Oh, we just can't wait to get away for a weekend."
Yes.
Neither can I.
And I will say, if you just want to hear the goings-ons, the happenings, you want to be on the inside track, if you want to be in the inside crowd, just download Voxer, put it on your phone, ping me, and say, "Hey, Dor, can I be added to that chat?" I don't care. Come on in. Come on. Next year, maybe you can
Yeah,
make it.
yeah. Because with Voxer Pro, how many people can we have in a single chat?
Voxer Pro, I want to say it says 100.
And that's if you create it with your pro account.
No, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, so yeah, we could have a large number of people in there. And yeah, it's absolutely free, doesn't cost you anything. But yeah, we'll create a separate chat for just kind of BSing on the way there. We do all sorts of fun games and crap with Voxer when we're at our fest. So yeah, it'll be fun to check out. But yeah, once again, please check out linuxfestnorthwest.org for the list of talks, because obviously while we're there, you probably should do some Linux stuff too. We will be, but there's the hallway track, which is of course my favorite track of all time. However, some fantastic talks look like they're going to be there this year. And overall, I can't remember how many years they've been doing it. Quite a while. It's a nice organized fest, very clean, very very good. Nothing but good things to say from people I've been talking to who have gone in the past. So
Yeah.
definitely check it out if you can make it out. It would be great.
Yes, and I'll say, do not forget the same weekend, the last weekend in April. If you're more closer to Detroit, you have Penguicon. If you're more closer to Kansas City, Kansas, I believe it is, you have Kansas Linux Fest. If you're more close to Tampa Bay, Florida, you have the Florida Pod Fest. So that is going to be an extremely busy weekend all over the United States.
If only we could clone ourselves, right, Dwar?
No, all I need is a TARDIS. I'll go to one conference for a couple
That's
days,
a very
then I'll
good
go
point.
back in time, go to a different conference for a couple days, go back in time, go to the different conference, and just keep doing that until I've been to all the conferences. There you go. Solution found.
See, I was gonna say a portal gun, because then I could just, if I'm this talk bites, just get over there. Oh, hey, cool.
Yeah, that'll work.
They're just starting the kegger.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and that's one of the things that the Northwest, there's some, I want to say, barley wine that they brew at the fest. Then they let it ferment all year. And then next year they serve that barley wine and then they start another fermentation for next year.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure that's what I heard. Pretty sure.
Well, we can make it happen,
Well,
regardless.
we have to find out who is going to be in charge of that tap and make good friends with them.
That's true. That's true. A couple other things, please. Much like we spoke about earlier in the show, if you are interested in a show involved with micro or mini computers, however you want to say it, aka Raspberry Pi, Banana Pro, that type of thing, just send us an email to mail@podnutz.com. We're trying to gauge some feedback. Dor and I are very excited to potentially bring them. Well, not potentially, where it's already in the kind of the early planning stages, but we would like to know how many people are interested in that type of show. Um, yeah. That. Oh, yes, Dor.
Yes. Next giveaway, we're going to be giving away a couple BeagleBone Blacks. My logic is probably like one or two a show for a while. So if you do like a BeagleBone Black, what I'm going to ask you to do is to join the club, podnutz.com. Just look at the show notes. It's right there. Uh, and I might have a way in the future to say, okay, now you're entered to be in the contest, but now are you actually interested in this giveaway? Because if you do not reply to, yes, I would like a BeagleBone Black, you will not be in the drawing. Because the last thing I want to do is somebody is interested in Linux and they like Linux and they want to win a possible Nexus 4, but then they don't want a BeagleBone Black. I don't want to say they want a BeagleBone Black and then say, hey, what's your address? For what? A BeagleBone Black. I don't want it. I don't want that kind of thing to happen. I want to make sure the only people who will be entered are people that would actually want it. And we have right now, I believe, 5 BeagleBone Blacks.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. And if I'm to bring something to give away, I have some ideas, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Some ideas involving a specific use case scenario for these machines, which is very vague, but that's how I said it and meant it. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, cool. So Dora, where can we find you online?
The easiest place, you just go to podnutz.com, click on contact, or send me an email at mail@podnutz.com. Seamless communications with anybody on the planet. Nobody gets better treatment than anybody else, okay? People are sometimes shocked when they send an email to the network asking a question, and I email back in 5 to 10 minutes. You get the same response time as I give my wife and my father if you're just a regular listener. No one is a higher priority than everyone else, period. Cody gets quick replies. Martin gets quick replies. Sometimes Cody slips through the cracks. And it takes me 3 days to get back with Cody.
Sometimes nothing. That's becoming way more frequent there, fella.
You have a distorted reality field around you. Sometimes Martin slips through the cracks, and it takes 3 days to get back. My wife can't because she'll just hit me in the back of my head. But I try to get back with everyone. Everyone who wants to communicate about anything, wants help, assistance, guidance, wants to ask a question, wants to ask how I do the podcast, wants to ask why I do the podcast, want to know what kind of hardware I have, whatever. Just send me an email. I'll get back with you.
Very cool. Thank you, Dor. If you want to contact me online, you can send an email to cody@podnutz.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Cody Cooper, or search for Cody Cooper on Google+. That's where I am primarily. Got to get back into posting more tweets. I was good. It was good there for a while, but I kind of dropped off. What were you say?
And my last second thank you to Ven Stone for pushing me towards OBS software is, do not forget, people, support those who support you. If you or someone in your family is at all a gamer and you want to make sure that you're getting them good games to run on their future Steam box, because come on, everyone's going to have one soon, you need to check out linuxgamecast.com. And if you get any value out of that podcast, you need to go look them up on Patreon. Give them $1, $3.50, $5, whatever. Support those who support you. So if they're letting you get educated on how to properly spend your money to make someone else in your family or your house happy with video games and supporting Linux at the same time, support those people back.
Most definitely. Yeah, if you're into gaming at all, and perhaps you're a new user and you're wondering what kind of games can I play on Linux, definitely go to linuxgamecast.com. Check out the show. It's absolutely free. However, if you value the content either immediately or over time, much like I do, I give money every month, as does Dor and several other patrons, to make sure that they can cover some costs and continue to bring the awesome content every week. I thank Jordan, Ven, Pedro, and even Sandy for the good work they do on that show. Yeah, because at the end of the day, man, take a shot. I did not mean that. That was so funny. It's some of the best podcasts ever are literally you get to know the personalities of the people, and after a while, it's as if you're sitting right there with them, and it's not that they're talking at you, but you're having a conversation with them, and they have created that kind of fantastic atmosphere, not only to just be fun, but also educational, and really just kind of cut the BS when it comes down to, should you buy this game? Should you buy this game now? Should you wait? Because if you want to talk about brutal honesty, watch some of their reviews. If they think it's garbage, they will tell you it's garbage, and then they won't just say it's garbage. They will give you detailed reasons. On the flip side of that, they will also go into detail if it's good or some things you need to consider based on the hardware that you have or the distro that you're running. Very, very good in-depth content. Cannot recommend it any higher. linuxgamecast.com. Check it out.
Yeah, and if you want to know why I'm kind of up on this OBS software, youtube.com/DoorToDoorGeek, Linux for the Rest of Us, episode 177. You don't even have to have the volume up. Just watch the video. it's actually almost like we're professional. I still don't have green screen working, but it's almost like we're professional. We're not quite there yet.
I can't wait to see it. All right, Door. Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening to the show again. We really do appreciate all the correspondence. Please send us your emails to podcast@linuxoftherestof.us.com. You can send in actually, we haven't received a voicemail in quite a long time,
True.
and that is at one. It is no, it's just 7076 Podnutz. You just call 7076 Podnut, leave us a voicemail. Go straight to our Google Voice number. If you can, please, 60 seconds or less. If it goes a little bit longer, fine. But if it's 3 to 5 minutes, maybe consider paring it down a bit, sending us a couple messages. That way we can space it out over a couple of shows. Because, yeah, we love hearing from you guys. And it makes the show worth doing. I really like listening to what people think of the show because, for the most part, it's positive. I will say that for the most part. And as always, please don't forget to visit our good friend Jonathan Nato over at the Accessible Computing Foundation. That is at the acf.tk, bringing technology to those who would otherwise be left behind, people with disabilities. For as little as $2 a month, you can become a regular contributor to help fund the development of software to help people with disabilities interface with the hardware that they desperately need in this day and age. We appreciate your support there. In addition to that, please visit sonargnulinux.org, which is Jonathan's custom Linux distribution based off of Manjaro, which has a lot of this software that he is having developed already implemented into the distro. In some cases, hitting the repos even before, hitting the distro even before it's pushed out to the repos to be pushed out to other distributions. So definitely another worthwhile project to check out there and support if you can. We would appreciate it. Thank you.